This is Liam Marcus with Christopher Nation. Have you ever heard anyone tell you that the land does not a state create? You know how we've been taught about the states, but no one ever told us that the land cannot possibly a state create. What do you think about that? So if the land cannot create a state, who creates the state? Well, according to the law of nations, people create states. You and I could create a state tomorrow. 7 years ago, I did it with a few other individuals. We created the State Society of Christopher Nation. And steps that you can take towards that: you can renunciate your citizenship to the United States. You can look it up within the United States Code. It's called expatriation, the Expatriation Act. And it's also in the Law of Nations, Book 1, Section 33. And a little more about that in Section 220. However, there have been some individuals that have claimed to never have had a chance to elect being part of any particular country or state. They're probably stateless, and there's certain laws that control stateless individuals, but that's what they have done. So you could do it the way that the law of nations implies on how to do it, and go with that. But you can also do it in any other different way. I mean, who's to stop you? After all, the law of nations was written by a man. So the question, I guess, would be, what makes it so? If it was written by man, can it be so? What else could it be? What else can we use to be free of the governments that control us? What else can we use? Can we use religion as a defense? Well, some states have religious freedoms in their constitutions. If you use that, you lose, because that's written by men. And if they provide their citizens religious freedoms, you will understand that there's a certain limit to how to use them. Okay, you're limited on how to use your own religious freedom. Think about it for a moment. It's given to you by the state. You have religious freedom according to them. That is, if you're part of that state. What if you weren't part of that state? Would they still have personal jurisdiction over you? Could you still claim religious freedom? Why? You can claim something else, the right of exile or the right of self-determination, as it is asserted in the United Nations Resolutions 3103 and 2625. The United Nations didn't create that. So, the land does not a state create. Go ahead and I believe you can look it up in the Law of Nations, the Preliminaries Section, Section 1. There states what a state is. Why would you want to follow the Law of Nations? Well, very simply, because you can control them if they come after you expatriate, or after you start creating your own state through the right of self-determination. You can put a stopper on them by telling them, hey, I'm doing what I'm doing because it's necessary. Okay, I'm following the law of necessity here. It's not good for me and my posterity, my family, and everybody else to be part of your society anymore. And you don't want to violate that because Article 1, Section 8, Clause 10, it dictates will punish those that violate the law of nations. It's going to be entirely up to them, you see, but you'd still have to notify them because most of these individuals are ignorant. Okay, you cannot protect yourself depending on them to know the law. You can't. So it's really entirely up to you. This is why this is part of the law of necessity, and the right of self-determination is for you to take the bull by the horns and do it yourself with those like-minded individuals that want to be free, that want to create, that want to create a state and make it last. Okay, this is what the first 56 Americans did. Okay, for the United States. The land does not a state create. Okay, Law of Nations Preliminaries Section 1. And how to get out of the matrix, i.e. your current situation, your current political status. Law of Nations, Book 1, Sections 33 and 220. All right, do some reading, and I'll catch you later on the next video. Have a good one.
You need to become your own hero. You need to become your